The Power of Presence: How to Command Respect Without Uttering a Word. Chapter 1: The Fundamentals of Presence. Have you ever walked into a room and, without a word being exchanged, felt immediately drawn to someone? That magnetic pull, as if someone has a spotlight solely shining on them, isn't merely the result of their physical attributes or the way they're dressed. No, it's something more: it's their presence. But what exactly is presence, and why does it significantly influence our interactions and the perception others have of us? Presence is a fascinating blend of confidence, charisma, and authenticity that someone radiates, impacting those around them. It is a nonverbal communication force field that surrounds an individual, and though intangible, its effects are incredibly palpable. We may refer to it as their aura, their vibe, or that indefinable something that they possess. This something makes us sit up and take notice, it makes them memorable, and it often gives them a certain edge in various social scenarios, from networking events to job interviews, to even casual get-togethers. To understand presence, we need to consider that human beings are innately wired to make rapid, subliminal assessments about others. This instinctive process helps us determine who we think is friendly, who commands respect, who seems trustworthy, and who we'd rather keep at a distance. Our early ancestors relied on these quick evaluations for survival, making snap judgments about potential threats or allies. While modern society is quite different from the wild savannas of yore, our brains still operate on a similar wavelength in social situations. Therefore, your presence can be a powerful tool in shaping initial perceptions that others form about you. But why does it matter, and how can it brush the canvas of both our personal and professional lives? In the professional realm, for example, having a strong sense of presence can open doors to greater opportunities. It can lead to better first impressions, which are crucial in job interviews or client meetings, where decisions are often made in the blink of an eye. Presence can sway the course of negotiations to your favor, lend weight to your words in public speaking, or help you lead a team with greater authority and inspire more confidence amongst your peers. In personal relationships, presence can enhance the depth and quality of your interactions. When you have a commanding presence, loved ones and acquaintances might find you more approachable and engaging. You might find it easier to forge new friendships, as people are usually more inclined to connect with someone who exudes positive energy and genuine warmth. However, the beauty of presence lies not in any inherent talent or inborn trait, but in its accessibility to everyone. Presence can be cultivated, refined, and mastered over time. It's about recognizing the subtle details that signal confidence, from the steadfastness of your gaze to the intentional yet effortless manner in which you navigate a space. Understanding presence is about grasping the quiet, internal energy that one must harness, learning how to project it outward in a controlled symphony of nonverbal cues, brilliantly orchestrated but never overwhelming. Mastering presence is not unlike learning a musical instrument. Think of it as a violin. Each part, from the strings to the bow, must be in sync, perfectly tuned to create a harmonious melody that resonates with the audience. Similarly, elements of your demeanor, such as posture, gestures, and the spatial tempo you maintain as you move through an environment, work together to form the sweet music of your presence. An unconscious fidget here or avoiding eye contact there can create discord in this melody, just as a wrong note would in a concert performance. Presence, then, becomes the silent, yet potentially impactful, partner in every interaction you have. It's crucial to realize that it isn't about being the loudest voice in the room or the most visually striking person at an event. It's about cultivating a subtle strength that pulls rather than pushes, that invites rather than demands. Presence is the soft power that can transition you from being merely seen to being truly noticed and remembered. Imagine presence like the wind. We can't see it, but we can feel its effects, the way it can command a sailboat's path across the sea or bring life to the chimes hanging by the back porch. In much the same way, presence is felt. It affects others often on a subconscious level, compelling them to respond to you, sometimes in ways they might not fully understand. That is the real magic of presence. When it is fully realized, it transcends the conscious thought and directly appeals to the emotional core of human interactions. And so, once you grasp the holistic concept of presence, an entity far broader than simple physical appearance or mere body language, you start weaving it into the tapestry of your life. Every thread adds strength, every color richness, and as you will see in upcoming chapters, learning to artfully combine these elements will give you the edge in crafting a presence that is uniquely and powerfully your own. Our presence is composed of a multitude of silent signals, each a note that contributes to the overall impression we leave. Your stance, the manner in which you move, your facial expressions, and even the subtleties of your gaze coalesce into a nonverbal narrative about your self-assurance, emotions, and intent. The anatomy of presence centers on understanding and optimizing these cues to foster positive perceptions and draw people toward your personal sphere of influence. Body language speaks volumes about individual comfort and confidence levels. Your posture serves as an immediate visual cue to your mindset. An upright, open stance suggests self-assurance and readiness to engage, while slouched shoulders and crossed arms might signal disinterest or defensiveness. By adopting a posture that radiates assurance, shoulders back, spine straight, and head held high, you express an inviting yet dominant persona. This isn't about puffing your chest out in arrogance, but about channeling a sense of grounded composure. Similarly, gestures play a pivotal role in the dance of communication. Expressive hand movements can emphasize points and demonstrate enthusiasm, while controlled, deliberate gestures imply measured thought and authority. Be mindful, however, of the frenetic flailing or nervous fidgeting that can detract from your message. The balance here is key. Your gestures should complement your words, not overshadow them. Eye contact is another crucial element in the nonverbal symphony of presence. Holding someone's gaze communicates engagement and honesty, and can be just as impactful as the most eloquently spoken words. It's a fine line to walk, though, for staring is as off-putting as constantly averting one's gaze. The goal is to achieve a level of eye contact that conveys confidence without coming across as aggressive or confrontational. From the moment you enter a room, you're being observed, and those initial seconds are critical in setting the tone for the interactions to follow. First impressions are made swiftly and they tend to stick. A strong, confident handshake, an open expression, and a direct approach can quickly establish respect and interest. It's essential to be cognizant of these subconscious judgments and use them to your advantage by presenting the best version of yourself right from the start. But there's also the subtler aspect of how we occupy space. The way we move within a room and our proximity to others can signal authority, approachability, or aloofness. Someone who occupies their space assertively, not aggressively, without shrinking away, conveys a potent message of self-assuredness and command. This doesn't mean dominating the room or encroaching on others' personal bubbles, but rather doing so with a thoughtful awareness of personal boundaries and cultural norms. It's a delicate ballet of respect and assertion. The colors and style of clothing you choose also contribute to your nonverbal story. Different colors can evoke different emotions and perceptions. Blue might communicate trust and stability, red can suggest energy and passion, while black exudes sophistication and power. The fit and complexity of your attire, too, play a role. A well-tailored outfit can accentuate your confidence, while sloppiness might suggest carelessness. Each piece of your attire is an accessory to your personal brand. Choose wisely to ensure they align with the image you wish to project. Managing these nonverbal cues effectively requires self-awareness and practice. Mindfully adjusting your posture, refining your gestures, and maintaining appropriate eye contact until they become instinctive can dramatically enhance your silent presence. It is also important to be adaptable, to read the room and adjust your nonverbal communication according to the context and culture. This nuanced language of nonverbal communication is akin to a delicate piece of music. Every note, every rest, every dynamic shift contributes to the final impression. By mastering nonverbal cues and maintaining a balance that suits the symphony's composition, you hold the power to captivate your audience, whether it's one person or an entire room, without saying a word. With thoughtful practice and intention, you can master this unspoken language, and in doing so, unlock a newfound power within to command respect and admiration in any situation you encounter. Chapter 2: Mastering Your Own Presence. First impressions are lightning fast, yet they linger like the aftertaste of fine chocolate. Before we even realize it, our brains have processed and judged an individual based on visual cues. It's part of the unspoken language of influence that can beckon attention and signify confidence. Your visual signature, that combination of your style, attire, and even the colors you wear, is the tangible expression of your personal brand. It's a deliberate statement that says, "Here I am, this is what I stand for." Like an artist choosing a palette, your choice in attire is not merely about aesthetic appeal, it's a deep psychological play that communicates with startling efficiency. When you craft your visual signature, you're doing more than just dressing up. You're building a narrative around who you are and positioning yourself in the minds of those you meet. If you've ever felt the undercurrents of power when someone walks into a room, impeccably dressed, that's the visual signature at work. The details matter immensely. The cut of a suit can express authority, the shimmer of an accessory can hint at creativity, and even the tidiness of your appearance can suggest reliability. Let's pause and consider the psychology of color, which is a critical part of your visual signature. Colors aren't just seen, they're felt. Psychologists have long agreed that different colors can evoke a range of emotions and associations. Blue, for instance, is often seen as calm, loyal, and stable. Think of a cloudless sky or the deep sea. It's no coincidence that many professionals choose blue as a mainstay in their wardrobe. Red, by contrast, is dynamic and passionate, a color that pulses with energy and can even elevate one's heart rate. It's a statement maker but also needs to be used judiciously to avoid the perception of aggression. It's this interplay of color and emotion that can subtly influence how you are perceived and, in turn, how you feel. Your style, the unique blend of patterns, textures, and accessories, conveys complexity and depth. It's the quiet yet persistent whisper of your identity. You probably realize that a sharp blazer or an elegant dress can make you feel more poised and confident. That's the magic of a tailored style. It goes beyond surface-level beauty to intertwine with your inner narrative, bolstering not just your appearance but your mindset as well. When you feel aligned with how you present yourself, you emit an aura of authenticity that can be both seen and sensed. So how do you craft this visual signature, you might wonder? Like any skill worth acquiring, it starts with self-awareness and a dash of strategy. You sift through trends, not to conform, but to find those that resonate with your personal ethos. You select garments not just for their quality, but for their harmony with your physique and the message you wish to convey. When you choose a tie, a watch, or even a pair of shoes, you are curating elements that, together, speak volumes. You're creating a visual harmony where each item plays its note to perfection, all contributing to the collective melody that is uniquely yours. Another aspect to consider when refining your visual signature is appropriateness. Context is king, and understanding the environment you're operating in will determine the effectiveness of your visual communication. Even the most sophisticated wardrobe will falter if it's out of sync with its surroundings. This means that your visual signature is not a static entity but a fluid, adaptable part of you that knows when to speak loudly in bold patterns and when to whisper subtly in muted tones. Undoubtedly, crafting your visual signature is no overnight feat. It requires exploration, a dash of boldness, and an embracing of continuous refinement. In the beginning, you may experiment with various looks, sometimes hitting the mark and at other times learning which combinations miss the intended message. It's not about perfection on the first try, but the evolution and growth of your style over time. It's also about appreciating the reaction from others and fine-tuning your approach. A nod here, a compliment there, feedback is integral because it reflects how well your visual signature resonates with the world around you. Incorporating the psychology of color into your attire sends strong but silent messages, deepening the impact of your visual signature. An awareness of warm and cool colors, bright and muted shades, can help in aligning your outfit with the image you aim to project. This isn't about following the latest fashion, it's about choosing the elements that serve as an extension of your personal and professional ambition. Envision the transformation that occurs when every day, you deliberately choose clothing that connects with your presence. The distinction between dressing and crafting your visual signature becomes evident. Your wardrobe becomes not just a collection of clothes, but an arsenal, each piece carrying a strategic advantage that positions you not just to be seen, but to be remembered. Now, on this empowering journey, it is essential to remember there are no one-size-fits-all prescriptions. It is as personal as your signature, unique, distinguishing, and reflective of an inner essence waiting to be unleashed. As you tailor your presence through careful selection and combination of attire and color, the power of your visual stamp will unfold, unmistakable to those who encounter you. It's a nuanced balance, and part of the fun is experimenting to find what resonates most authentically with you and projects your desired image. As you wear your visual signature with confidence and authenticity, you'll notice the silent symphony of your presence beginning to command rooms and captivate audiences, reflecting your inner strength in the outer world. The art of body language. It's time to delve into the secret sauce of commanding presence and influence without uttering a single word. As hinted at the outset, knowing the unspoken cues is like owning a master key that unlocks the doors to the silent symphony of power. That's right, we are venturing into the realm where your physical posture, the subtlety of your gestures, and the intensity of your eye contact speak volumes more than words could ever convey. Picture this: you walk into a room, and without so much as a whisper, you intuitively command attention. It's as though you have an invisible aura, a magnetic draw that pulls people into your orbit. This is the unspoken language of influence in action, the very solution to establishing a commanding presence. It's almost like having an ace up your sleeve that ensures you're always playing a winning hand in the high-stakes game of interpersonal relations. And the beautiful part? This ace is something that you can develop, refine, and make entirely your own. Let's start with posture. It's the foundation stone of your nonverbal arsenal and one that's deceptively simple to correct yet surprisingly powerful in effect. Imagine your body is like a grand skyscraper. Just as the deepest foundations give such a structure its imposing stature and defiance against the buffeting winds, a strong, balanced posture gives your physical presence the same solidity and resilience. When you stand, imagine a string pulling up from the crown of your head, elongating your spine, opening your chest, and allowing your arms to hang naturally by your sides. This isn't just about standing tall, it's about embodying dignity and self-assurance. Yet, it's about flexibility as much as it is about strength. Fluidity in your movement suggests openness and adaptability. Picture a willow in the breeze versus a rigid oak in a storm. While one sways with grace, the other is prone to snapping. When you move, let your motions flow from one into the next, never jerky, always purposeful. This speaks of a person who is in control and ready to adapt, a person who indeed, as we've said before, has that master key at their disposal. Next come the minutiae of gestures that, when wielded astutely, can significantly enhance your message or, if uncontrolled, can utterly undermine it. Have you ever noticed how some people's hand gestures seem to be narrating a tale all on their own, underpinning their words with a rhythm that captivates and convinces? Your hands are powerful transmitters of intent. Use them to underscore your points, like a conductor marshalling a grand orchestra into a crescendo. But beware, as overuse or frantic gesticulation can appear disconcerting and can mute the symphony you are trying to create. Precision is key. Let's say you're emphasizing an important point. A well-timed gesture such as a palm-up offering can give weight to your words, symbolically presenting your idea to your audience. Conversely, when conveying certainty or drawing a boundary, a palm-down movement will lay down the law, non-verbally illustrating that the matter is settled on your end. Remember, these are brushstrokes in the masterpiece of your non-verbal communication. Use them sparingly and with purpose. As for eye contact, mastering this can be akin to wielding a scalpel. It requires finesse and precision. It's not about staring someone down. That's the blunt force approach and often counterproductive. Instead, think about using your gaze like a spotlight. You can draw attention to someone, making them feel recognized and important, or you can diffuse tension by shifting your gaze, tapering the intensity of a situation. Eye contact is a powerful means of forming connections, underscoring honesty, and creating a channel for silent messages that words could distort or fail to convey. Like any skilled practitioner of their art, these aspects of nonverbal communication require practice. It's about making small adjustments, rehearsing in the quiet moments so that when the curtain rises, your performance is second nature. Start by watching yourself, perhaps in a mirror or through self-filming. Notice what your resting posture is like, how you tend to stand when relaxed, and what kind of gestures you fall back on when speaking. Self-awareness is the starting point for transformation. It's like preparing the soil before planting the seeds of change. And speaking of change, keep in mind that authentic presence never comes from mimicry. You're not here to become a carbon copy of someone else's mannerisms. What you are doing is honing your individual style, polishing the diamond of your unique, non-verbal expression until it shines with inherent authenticity. That's how you'll know you've mastered it. Not when you can replicate someone's posture perfectly or duplicate their gestures, but when your own personal brand of nonverbal eloquence is as natural to you as breathing. Remember, articles of clothing matter, expressions matter, but it's the silent dance of your body language that orchestrates the grand symphony of your presence. As you refine each element of your nonverbal skill set, your posture, gestures, and eye contact, you'll emerge as the conductor of your own life symphony, drawing out respect and admiration from all who cross your path. And isn't that a solution worth striving for? Chapter 3: The Positive Influence of Presence. This might seem like an innate trait that some are born with, but the truth is, authenticity and trustworthiness can be developed much like any other skill. It involves a delicate balance of self-awareness, the projection of one's values, and the consistent demonstration of those values through nonverbal communication. Let's delve into the essence of cultivating a presence that resonates with authenticity and trustworthiness and how it can profoundly influence your interactions. Authenticity is about being congruent with your values and beliefs. It's the alignment between your inner intentions and your outward expressions. An authentic presence means your body language, facial expressions, and even your silence are in harmony with your true self. Developing this type of congruence requires deep introspection. Think about the values that are most important to you: honesty, dedication, kindness, respect, and reflect on how well your nonverbal cues communicate these values. Are you frowning when you talk about something you are passionate about? Does your body close off during conversations about topics that matter to you? Through self-awareness, we begin the journey of aligning our nonverbal signals with our genuine selves. Trustworthiness, on the other hand, is the bedrock upon which relationships are built. It's about consistency and predictability. When your actions, over time, match your words, when your nonverbal cues do not betray your spoken promises, people begin to trust you. They can rely on you because you have demonstrated that your presence is one of steady authenticity. This consistency needs discipline. It's one thing to have a moment of genuine interaction, it's something else entirely to be consistently genuine and trustworthy in all your interactions. One must understand that cultivating authenticity and trustworthiness is not about putting on a facade of these qualities. That would be antithetical to the very essence of what we are trying to achieve. Rather, it is about presenting the most honest and consistent version of oneself. Start by ensuring that your facial expressions match your emotions. When you feel positive or agreeable, let those emotions show with an open and light facial expression. Conversely, if you disagree or are in doubt, it's okay to let those expressions come through as well. However, ensure this is done respectfully and does not close off communication. Your posture is another powerful tool. A trustworthy presence often has a relaxed, open posture which signals ease and confidence. Stand or sit straight but not stiff, keep your chest open and your arms uncrossed. This makes you appear approachable and signals to others that you are receptive to their ideas. It suggests that you have nothing to hide, thereby increasing your aura of trustworthiness. Eye contact is the gateway to the soul, they say. Maintaining gentle, yet steady eye contact signals attentiveness and interest. It demonstrates that you are fully present in the conversation and are not merely waiting for your turn to speak. However, there's a fine balance to be struck. Too little eye contact can seem evasive, while too much can be perceived as aggressive. The key is to be natural and mindful of the comfort of others. Moreover, your energy and the way you address space can play into your persona of authenticity and trustworthiness. When your energy is calm and your movements deliberate, you display a level of self-control and sureness that people find reassuring. When you move, do so with intention, not abruptness or nervousness. Cultivating an aura of authenticity and trustworthiness does not end with your own self-expression, it extends to how you respond to others. When you listen attentively, nod in agreement, and provide feedback that reflects a genuine understanding of what was shared, you validate the speaker's presence as well. This respectful acknowledgement of another's presence feeds back into your own aura of authenticity. Remember, it's not about manipulation, it's about magnifying who you are at your core. This magnification becomes the foundation of trust and respect at the silent symphony of credibility that precedes any words you might speak. As you navigate through spaces, personal or professional, the presence you cultivate through authenticity and trustworthiness becomes your silent emissary, creating a lasting impact that fosters relationships built on genuine connection and mutual respect. It remains crucial, however, to continually reassess and adapt as necessary. Your presence isn't a static state, but a dynamic one that evolves with you and the situations you encounter. By consistently engaging with the core aspects of yourself that resonate with authenticity and trustworthiness, your presence becomes one that not only commands attention but also retains the respect and confidence of those around you long after you've left the room. To understand this, let's dive into the idea of space, physical space. It's not just the absence of matter, it's a canvas for human interaction, an extension of ourselves. We all have a personal bubble, an invisible territory which we subconsciously guard and manage. When you walk into a meeting, a conference, or even a party, the way you navigate and occupy space can make a striking impact. It's about positioning, movement, and the energy you exude. It's the difference between being a wallflower and being the life of the party, and it doesn't require you to be the loudest voice in the room. Think of presence as a subtle magnetic field. It pulls people into your sphere of influence without them quite realizing why or how. So, how do we cast this invisible net of influence? Let's start with the basics, your entrance. A confident entrance, holding your head high, maintaining a steady pace, and acknowledging others with a nod or a smile, sets the tone for command. As you enter, take a moment to pause and survey the room, much like a maestro taking in the orchestra before a performance. This pause is powerful. It allows you to establish your presence and lets the collective consciousness of the room recognize and draw towards your energy. You aren't just physically occupying space, you're claiming it psychologically. Once you've made your entrance, consider your movement. Gliding rather than rushing from point to point creates a narrative of composure and deliberation. By moving with purpose, you telegraph to those around you that you are in control of yourself, and thus, of the space. A fluid motion stands out in a pond of frenzied activity, drawing eyes naturally and establishing a silent hierarchy. You become the calm within the storm, the anchored presence around which chaos can whirl without affecting you. Your stance, too, is a strong communicator. Avoid the peripheries, central positions typically command more attention. A center stage spot is not just exclusive to leaders by rank but to anyone who wishes to lead in presence. It says you are not afraid to be seen, to be at the heart of action or attention. When speaking with someone, angle your body towards them, allowing them to feel the exclusivity of your attention, but make sure to not block off the rest of the room. Keep your posture open and inviting, and you'll find that you're not only involving those directly in front of you, but also pulling in onlookers. Using gestures intentionally can also magnify your command of space. When you speak, allow your hands to accentuate your words with a gracefulness that implies ease and authority. Remember, your gestures are the visual counterparts of your words in silence. But refrain from fidgeting or unnecessary flurries of movement. Like a well-composed piece of music, every note, every motion should have purpose and contribute to the larger harmony of your presence. It's also worth acknowledging the psychological associations we attach to various parts of a room. High ground, quite literally, can be an advantage. Standing on a stage, or even choosing a seat at the head of a table, can subconsciously assert dominance. Conversely, placing yourself too low, such as sitting on the floor while others stand, can diminish your perceived influence. The dynamics of space and perceived power are deeply intertwined. Now, owning a room isn't about making others feel lesser, it's about asserting your presence in a way that invites respect and engagement. Think of your influence as a benevolent sun. You're there to illuminate, not to overshadow. By radiating positivity, openness, and engagement, you invite others into your orbit. When someone approaches you, make them feel like they have entered a space of significance. A firm handshake, steady eye contact, a warm smile, all these signals forge instant connections, creating micro-moments of shared space that are reciprocally empowering. But let's not forget that your silent command of space goes beyond the physical. It's also about the mental and emotional territories you navigate. Your demeanor, calm, collected, observant, melds into the tangible atmosphere of the room. It's the difference between someone you note peripherally and someone you look to for direction, the person who not only fills a space but enriches it with their presence. Navigating space strategically is a lifelong symphony, a melody you refine through practice and reflection. It's about continually expanding your awareness and adapting to the nuanced ebb and flow of social settings. With every new room you walk into, consider it an opportunity to fine-tune your silent influence, to play with the spatial dynamics at play, and to embrace the silent power of your presence. Your actions, your stillness, your very being, weave them all into the invisible tapestry that can captivate and inspire. It is, indeed, a silent art, but one that speaks to the profound depth of wordless communication and to the ever-present potential for influence that resides within us all. Chapter 4: The Secret Power Within. In mastering the art of silence, we harness an unseen force, the capacity to command attention and respect without uttering a single syllable. Consider the art of listening, for example, which is a silent activity yet among the most powerful tools in your communication arsenal. Active, attentive listening invites trust and opens doors to deeper understanding. It is in the stillness of listening that we give others the gift of feeling heard, validated, and appreciated. In mastering this art, we realize that silence is not a passive state but an engaged and intentional choice. It is an opportunity to observe, to learn, and to allow for the self-expression of others. This builds a foundation of trust and respect which, in turn, bolsters our own presence and influence. Contrary to popular belief, the power of our presence is not always measured by the quantity of our words, but often by their quality and the space we leave around them. A silent pause can serve as an invitation for others to lean in, to ponder, and to engage. It allows your audience, be it one person or a room full, time to digest and reflect on what has been said and what remains unsaid. Silence can punctuate, emphasize, and give space for your words to breathe. In these gaps, in the absence of sound, the unspoken can become eloquent and persuasive. Think of moments when a leader enters a room and, without saying a word, captures attention. The silent message conveys poise, confidence, and preparation. In negotiations, silence is often the subtle tool of the savvy, compelling opponents to reveal more than they had intended. Silence is the invisible yet palpable pressure that can gently tip the scales in your favor by encouraging others to speak, potentially revealing interests or concerns that might have otherwise remained concealed. Mastering this indispensable aspect of your presence necessitates a recognition of when not to speak. It is the wisdom to appreciate that sometimes the most compelling argument is made when we are not arguing at all. To know when to envelop the room in a quietude that beckons thought and introspection, we need to become acutely aware of the rhythms and flows of dialogue and the impact, visceral and psychological, our silence can have. Navigating this realm requires a heightened sense of awareness of our own impulses, triggers, and habits of speech. Are we filling every silence because we're uncomfortable with the void, or do we trust in the potency of patience, allowing the moment to mature, to ripen into something more meaningful than hurried banter? Cultivating this skill isn't without its challenges. It asks that we confront any fears we may have of being overlooked or misunderstood in our reticence. Yet, it is important to distinguish between silence that is confident and purposeful and silence that is hesitant or uncertain. When harnessing silence as a conduit of power, the former speaks to self-assuredness and mastery, an intentional and strategic choice. Training ourselves to be comfortable with and within silence can begin with small, daily exercises. It can be as simple as pausing for a few seconds before reacting to a question or comment. This not only aids in crafting a more considered response, but also demonstrates to the speaker that their words are being taken seriously. Likewise, intentionally setting aside quiet moments throughout our day, times when we just absorb our surroundings without the need to comment or engage, can attune us to the subtler nuances of interaction. As you cultivate this skill, remember that your growth in this domain is boundless. With each conversation, each meeting, and each encounter, you have a fresh opportunity to practice the subtle art of silence. It has been said that nature abhors a vacuum, and indeed, so too do many people rush to fill the silent spaces between us. Yet, it is often within these spaces that the deepest connections are formed, the most profound insights are gleaned, and the strongest presence is felt. Your willingness to embrace and wield silence signifies not only a mastery of your external environment, but an inner mastery as well, an inner stillness that reverberates, resonating as a silent ally in commanding respect and shaping the world around you. You might ask, how can inner stillness possibly convey a commanding presence? It begins with understanding that a serene mind does not waver with the fluctuations of our immediate circumstances, rather, it remains resolute, composed, projecting a confidence that draws others towards it. It's akin to being the stoic oak in a forest of saplings, unyielding to the breeze, yet majestic and admired. Inner stillness is the foundation upon which your external composure rests. When you're interacting with someone, they're not just listening to your words, they are also reading the subtleties of your persona. What your stance isn't saying, your aura is, it speaks volumes about your conviction, your authenticity, and ultimately your influence. A still mind resonates with self-assuredness. It doesn't fidget or despair, it doesn't show signs of doubt or insecurity, because it's rooted in clarity and conviction. In the realm of presence, your inner state is your most potent tool, the subtle yet striking conductor of the orchestra that makes up your persona. So how can you tap into this profound resource? One practical way is through the regular practice of mindfulness meditation. This approach trains the brain to focus on the present moment, reducing the mental noise that so often distracts us from our sense of self. Just as a skillful sculptor chisels away at marble to reveal a form hidden within, you can chip away the superfluous worries and stray thoughts to unveil a core of stoic serenity. Not only do you become more attuned to your internal experiences, being mindful of your breathing, your thoughts, your emotions, but also more adept at managing them. This harmony within naturally translates to a presence that is felt, not just seen. Meditation is like a gym for your mind where, with regular practice, you strengthen your attention, fortitude, and emotional intelligence. And just like the muscles in your body, the muscles of your mind become more defined, more adept at maintaining composure in demanding situations. This inner stillness has an uncanny way of manifesting itself physically. Your posture straightens, your breathing becomes even and deep, and your movements reflect deliberation and purpose. Your presence, tempered by the fire of disciplined calm, becomes as compelling as the calm lake that reflects the beauty around it without ripple or disturbance. This stillness also enables you to become an active listener, one who not only hears but comprehends and reflects on the undercurrents of what's being communicated. In any interaction, possessing the ability to listen not merely with the intent to reply but with the intent to understand is a rare and powerful skill that few master. The quiet mind strips away the compulsion to interrupt, allowing space for others' ideas and feelings, and in turn, reveals a leader who values contribution over domination. With this cultivated internal silence, your decision-making process likewise gains clarity. A mind cluttered with noise struggles to separate wheat from chaff, resulting in choices that are reactive rather than proactive. Inner stillness gifts you the discernment to see situations as they are, not as your fleeting emotions might distort them. Consequently, decisions born from such a centered foundation are typically more robust, more insightful, and ultimately more influential. It's essential to remember that cultivating such inner stillness and reflecting it in your outward demeanor is not about suppression or stoicism in the face of emotion or stimuli. Rather, it's the art of fine-tuning your response to external factors. Embracing calm doesn't negate passion or intensity, it merely channels these forces in a way that amplifies your gravitas. The most exemplary leaders, those figures whose very presence commands a room, are not those who stifle their emotions but those who harness them with masterful control, pairing the fire of their convictions with the ice of their composure. Furthermore, the benefits of this inner stability extend beyond the immediate moment of interaction. They spill over, making you a beacon of reliability in the eyes of your peers and colleagues. In a world often characterized by change and chaos, the individual who embodies steadiness becomes an anchor, a dependable figure around whom others can rally. Your ability to remain calm under pressure, to maintain an undisturbed demeanor amidst the storm, becomes a point of stability for those you lead or collaborate with. Regular engagement with activities that promote a quiet mind, such as yoga, tai chi, or simply quiet reflection in nature, reinforces your capacity for inward tranquility. Just like the depth of the ocean remains untouched by the fury of the stormy surface, so too can your spirit remain undisturbed by the tempest of life's challenges. This analogy is not just poetic but practical, it's an illustration of the power that can be harnessed when you develop the skill to remain internally unshaken while navigating the complexities of human interaction and the erratic nature of life's demands. Embrace the process of cultivating inner stillness. It's a journey akin to the maturation of a fine wine. Each moment of reflection, each conscious breath, each mindful choice adds complexity, depth, and character to the presence you exude. Allow yourself the patience and permission to grow, evolve, and refine this facet of your character, and as you do, watch as your presence transforms from a whisper to a resonant, influential symphony that commands respect and inspires admiration. While the art of communicating through spoken words is widely recognized and celebrated, let us not overlook the silent language of our being, the unquantifiable influence of a composed, still, and commanding presence. Make no mistake, this is not a journey with an end. Each day, each interaction is an opportunity to practice and perfect the silent art form within you, a testament to the boundless potential of personal growth and the relentless pursuit of excellence in oneself and one's influence on the world. Chapter 5: Beyond the Self, Interpersonal Dynamics. The art of fine-tuning your presence with others is much like participating in a synchronized dance, where awareness of your partner is as crucial as your own steps. This synchronicity in presence involves a dance not staged with physical movement but with emotional and psychological awareness. It is in this seamless integration of two or more presences that we find the sweet spot of interpersonal relations. Mastering this skill can dramatically change the way you relate to others, fostering a sense of camaraderie, understanding, and respect that transcends mere conversation. This subtle attuning is as crucial in group settings as in one-on-one interactions. When you're with someone one-on-one, you have the luxury of dedicating all your attention to their nonverbal cues, the flicker of their eyes, the tilt of their head, the rhythm of their breath. In these smaller encounters, your goal is to harmonize your presence with theirs, forming a space where both of you can feel seen, heard, and respected. This doesn't mean mirroring their every move like a pantomime, but rather resonating with them on an emotional level. It's about creating a reciprocal flow of nonverbal communication that can make a conversation, no matter how trivial, far more impactful. Take, for instance, the often overlooked power of timing. In interaction, timing can be everything. It determines the cadence of the exchange and conveys respect for the other's space to think and feel. Just as a symphony isn't merely a sequence of notes played at whatever moment strikes the musician's fancy, a conversation isn't a barrage of words launched without regard for when they land. It's giving room for the other's expression just as a dancer gives space for a partner's move, all within the flow of the shared rhythm set by the discourse. Moreover, adjust your physicality to signal your engagement and openness. Take a slightly leaned-in posture to showcase your interest, while ensuring it's not perceived as invasive. Small nods and occasional light touches, if appropriate, can be incredibly affirming. The goal here is not to consciously count nods or measure the degree of your lean, but to allow your instinctual social sense to guide you to a stance that enhances the shared connection. Now, this co-creation of presence isn't just about being agreeable. There's a misconstrued notion that to resonate with someone you must suppress your own presence, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, it is vital that you maintain your authenticity. Be firmly grounded in your sense of self while you engage with others. A dance is most beautiful when each dancer moves confidently on their own 2 feet. It's also essential to listen. Really listen. Not just for the words that are being said, but for the underlying emotions and the unarticulated thoughts that hang in the weight of a pause, in the subtle sighs, or in the sparkle of genuine excitement. Just as a dancer must listen to the music, you must listen to the verbal and nonverbal melody playing within the interaction to respond appropriately and keep the conversation flowing harmoniously. Remember that everyone has their own rhythm and pace, a unique way of expressing themselves that becomes apparent when you truly tune in. To discover this rhythm, allow a sense of curiosity to guide you. Observe how they move through conversations, how they hold themselves when they're excited, or retreat when uneasy. This observation, rooted in empathy rather than judgment, allows you to adjust your presence so that it feels supportive rather than overwhelming. In group settings, the dance broadens as you navigate between individual rhythms and the collective beat. Here, your role is to balance your presence between connecting individually and contributing to the group vibe. This may involve stepping back to let someone else take the floor or stepping up when the group needs direction or inspiration. Just like a choreographed group performance, the beauty arises from each participant playing their part, flowing in and out of the spotlight with grace. So how do you achieve this harmonious interaction? Start by setting intentions before any interaction. Remind yourself of the value of empathy, shared understanding, and mutual respect. Approach each interaction with an open mind, ready to adapt and be flexible in your presence. Learn to trust the intuitive part of you that already knows how to engage with others on a deeper level. Practice is also key. Much like dancers who rehearse their routines, engaging in regular, mindful interactions will help you hone your ability to sync with others meaningfully. Observe seasoned communicators and leaders, they are often masters of this dance. Notice how they calibrate their presence in response to those they're engaging with. They lead when needed and follow when it's someone else's turn to shine, all the while maintaining a palpable connection with the room. Adopting this synchronized approach allows for authentic connections that are fruitful, satisfying, and mutual. It makes conversations more enjoyable and collaborative efforts more effective, as people feel genuinely connected and valued. And more importantly, it builds trust, and it's upon the foundation of trust that the most successful relationships, both personal and professional, are built. By mastering this synchronized dance of presence, you are not only becoming adept at interpersonal relations, you're also setting the stage for a life where harmonious interactions are the norm, not the exception. Your attuned presence can become a beacon of comfort and clarity in an often chaotic world, providing not just your own pathway to influence and rapport, but helping others find their rhythm too. When you think about it, we're all conductors orchestrating the energy around us, much like maestros leading a grand orchestra without uttering a single note. This silent power, my friend, is rooted deep in the realm of nonverbal communication, a force that whispers instructions, sways emotions, and steers conversations. Now, let's delve into one particularly powerful aspect of this nonverbal domain, the art of energy projection. Energy projection is as subtle as it is potent and can be likened to invisible threads that we use to pull people into our rhythm, set the emotional tone of the room, and guide interactions toward a desired outcome. Imagine for a moment that you're attending a social event where the atmosphere is tepid, and the attendees are mere silhouettes of disinterest. Picture yourself there, radiating a warm, inviting glow that begins to permeate each corner of the room. As you step through the crowd, sharing smiles and exuding confidence, your energy extends beyond your physical being, like sunlight casting away shadows, sparking lively conversations and laughter in its wake. Through your demeanor, you've altered the very essence of the gathering without saying a word. This, my dear reader, is energy projection at work. But how do you harness such an influence? It boils down to a combination of self-awareness, emotional regulation, and the intentional broadcasting of your vibe. Think of your mood as a tuning fork. When you strike it to the right pitch, the world around tunes in harmony. The trick lies in calibrating that pitch to resonate with your intentions. To start this calibration, one must first take a deep dive into their emotional core to understand the feelings they are radiating. Consider your emotions as colors on a palette, each hue representing a different feeling. Before you enter a room, ask yourself what colors you're currently painted with. Is it a shade of serene blue, signaling tranquility and composure, or a fiery red broadcasting passion and power? Being mindful of your emotional state is the cornerstone of projecting the right energy. Recognize that you can mix these colors to create the perfect shade to suit the occasion. All it takes is a conscious decision to select the hue you wish to share with the world. Now, with understanding in one hand and intention in the other, it's time to paint the room with your energy. Body language serves as the brush with which you spread your color. Stand tall, with shoulders eased back, and own your space. Your poise should speak of assurance, but remain open and welcoming. When you engage with others, maintain eye contact that is friendly yet piercing enough to touch their core. Remember to smile, not just with your lips, but with your eyes, the kind of smile that signals genuine pleasure in the interaction. Your gestures too must be in sync with the emotional palette you've chosen. Controlled, deliberate movements emanate self-possession and intent, while fluid, expansive ones spread enthusiasm and openness. A gentle touch, a reassuring nod, or an animated story painted with your hands can knit a stronger connection with those you encounter, allowing them to subconsciously match your emotional state, the very essence of energy projection. But it's not just about transmitting, it's equally important to be a receptive antenna for others' energies. Listening actively, attuning to the subtle shifts in the atmosphere, and responding in kind allows for a dynamic exchange, a dance of energies that can be as mesmerizing as it is empowering. The real mastery lies in reading the room and knowing when to dial up the intensity or blend into a more subdued tapestry. It's this adept modulation that distinguishes a true influencer from an energetic novice. In high-stakes situations, like negotiations or networking events, you'll want your energy to be firm, yet not domineering. In a nurturing setting, it should be soft but not underwhelming. The key is balance, projecting an energy that is neither overwhelming nor underwhelming, but perfectly tuned to the symphony around you. Practicing energy projection can be transformative not only in social interactions, but also in professional environments. In a meeting, for example, the ability to radiate confidence can make your ideas more persuasive. In leadership, projecting inspiration can galvanize your team to action. Energy projection isn't a one-off performance, it's a skill that can be nurtured over time, with every interaction serving as a micro-practice session. My friend, remember that each of us has a reservoir of energy within, waiting to be projected. With mindfulness and intent, we can shape this energy to influence the mood and engagement of those around us. The transformation is gradual, akin to a flower unfolding its petals to the dawn, subtle at first, then suddenly recognizable in full bloom. Through this practice, not only do you hold the power to enhance your interactions, but you also contribute to the collective energy of the world, one room at a time. Indeed, energy projection is an exquisitely human ability, a nuanced art form matching the complexity of our emotional spectrum. It's a reality that underscores the essence of our shared humanity, that the most profound connections are felt, not just spoken, and that the energy we bring to the table is as vital as the words we choose to express. By mastering this silent symphony, you become a maestro of influence, coalescing respect and engagement in beautiful, harmonious accord. Chapter 6: Challenges to Presence and Overcoming Them. Ever find yourself walking into a room and instead of exuding the confidence you rehearsed in front of the mirror, you're gripped by an invisible weight that anchors you to the back of the room where you become a wallflower, overlooked and unheard? Or perhaps during a critical meeting where, despite your preparation, you falter, your voice loses its conviction, and you feel the room's attention slipping away. These are the symptoms of what I like to call presence blockers, sneaky, silent thieves that steal away your presence, the very essence that makes your persona shine. Let's embark on a journey to identify these culprits. Presence blockers can come in many forms, however, most stem from one critical root: our mindset. Picture yourself as a seasoned captain navigating a ship through uncharted waters. Your mindset is the compass that either steers you towards clear skies or plunges you into the abyss of stormy seas. Negative self-talk, for instance, is a mutineer on your ship. It spouts doubts like "I'm not good enough" or "they won't take me seriously," undermining the command you have over your ship of self-assurance. Another formidable presence blocker is the lack of self-awareness. It's akin to sailing blindfolded. You might be moving, but are you going in the right direction? Without self-awareness, you could be inadvertently displaying expressions, mannerisms, or postures that convey uncertainty, arrogance, or disinterest, a far cry from the presence that inspires and influences. Stress, too, can forcefully erode your presence. Think of it as a squall that hits unpredictably, throwing you off course. When the winds of stress howl and the waves of anxiety rise, your ability to maintain composure and confidence is tested. Your usual steadfast gaze might waver, your voice quiver, and suddenly, the strong, dependable presence you've cultivated starts to crumble. Another critical blocker comes from the comparison trap, constantly measuring your ship against another's. This myopic focus on others can lead to a crippling underestimation of your unique strengths. Instead of steering your ship with pride, you're always glancing over at the next vessel, adjusting your course in a futile attempt to match theirs, and in doing so, you lose the distinct essence that defines your commanding presence. Perfectionism, too, can capsize your ship faster than you can say smooth sailing. Aiming for excellence is admirable, but when the pursuit of perfection becomes an obsession, you're setting sail for impossible horizons. Every minor flaw is magnified, every stutter pronounced, every gesture critiqued until the pressure mounts and your presence is no longer your ally, but your critic. Now that we have scouted the horizon and identified these blockers, how do we navigate through them? Managing negative self-talk is like negotiating with your mutineer. Recognize it, understand its intentions, and then steer it towards more positive and empowering affirmations. Replace "I'm not worthy" with "I have value to add," or "I can't do this" with "I've prepared and I'm ready to face this challenge." To increase self-awareness, it's like polishing the ship's instruments to better understand the breadth of your command. Reflect on your non-verbal cues. Is your posture open or closed? Are your gestures inviting or dismissive? Seek feedback from trusted shipmates. They'll help you spot the blind spots on your radar. Use this information to adjust your sails, honing in on body language that reflects the confidence and composure you need to master your presence. Tackling stress requires a steady hand and a calm mind, just as handling a squall demands. Develop routines that anchor you in the present, be it through deep breathing, meditation, or mindfulness techniques. Before entering a high-pressure situation, set your bearings with a moment of tranquility. Visualize the calm after the storm, you handling the situation with poise and reassurance. The comparison trap is navigated by charting your own unique course. Yes, observe other ships for guidance and inspiration, but let the stars of your personal values, strengths, and ambitions guide you. By focusing on your journey, you take ownership of your vessel, proudly flying your flag of individuality as part of your presence. And how do we stay afloat amidst the sirens of perfectionism? Simply by acknowledging that while excellence is the destination, perfection is but a mythic island that cannot be reached. Aim for progress, not perfection. Understand that each wave conquered contributes to your growth and the sharpening of your presence. Treating mistakes as learning experiences rather than the end of your voyage fosters resilience and adaptability, the true marks of a masterful presence. As we've seen, these presence blockers, be they negative self-talk, lack of self-awareness, stress, comparison, or perfectionism, can all be navigated. The key is to acknowledge their existence, understand their influence, and then skillfully steer your ship, yourself, with the knowledge that you have the power to command your presence, regardless of the turbulent seas you might encounter. Anchored in this awareness, you can stand firm at the helm, charting a course towards the horizon with unshakable presence. Maintaining presence under pressure is as much an art as it is a skill. When we find ourselves in the thick of a stressful situation, whether it's delivering a presentation to a room of skeptical faces or navigating a high-stakes negotiation, it is crucial to preserve your air of command and confidence. Nonverbal cues are often powerfully read by others, sometimes subconsciously, dictating whether we are seen as leaders or followers, as composed or flustered. How we handle the pressure can make the difference between triumph and retreat, but fear not, because with practical techniques and a bit of polish, you can condition yourself to stand as a pillar of calm in the stormy seas of stress. Let's dive into the toolkit of techniques that help us achieve that Zen-like composure. First, there's breathing, seemingly simple, yet nothing short of transformative. When nerves are frayed, and your heart beats like a tribal drum against your chest, it's time to befriend your breath. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing can be a life raft in an ocean of chaos. Imagine each breath as a wave smoothing the sands of your anxious mind. Just a few deliberate, deep breaths can lower your heartbeat, unclench your muscles, and signal your brain to switch on the parasympathetic nervous system, your body's own peacekeeper. But to truly maintain presence, you need to couple breathing with positive visualization. Picture success vividly as if it's already happened. See yourself owning the room with your poise and articulation, feel the lightness that follows a perfectly executed performance. Studies show that our brains can scarcely tell the difference between intense visualization and actual experience, so take advantage of this delightful quirk of psychology. Visualize regularly, and your body will begin to adopt the confidence of these experiences. Yet, visualization alone won't prepare you for the spotlight's unforgiving glare. This is where rehearsal enters the picture. Just as athletes run drills to prepare for the game, you too can rehearse your moments of pressure. Practice your speech until the words feel less like recitals and more like extensions of your thoughts. Rehearse your pitch until you no longer need to reference notes. The goal is to internalize your content to such a degree that it becomes second nature, enabling you to focus on exuding warmth and authority rather than recalling what comes next. Stress is like quicksand, the more you resist it, the faster you sink. To maintain presence under pressure, you need to acknowledge stress, not as a foe to be vanquished, but as a partner in the dance. Acknowledge it, name it, and work with it. Focus this energy on the task at hand. Let it not tremble your hands, but rather, let it sharpen your focus. Stress can be the spark that lights the flame of your attention, driving you to peak performance. A key to maintaining presence is to anchor your attention to something in the present. If you're on stage, focus on the friendliness in someone's face, or the comfortable weight of the mic in your hand. If you're in a meeting, engage with the nuances of the discussion, pick up on the tone, the body language, and the dynamic interplay happening right before you. Anchoring in the moment keeps you from wandering into the treacherous terrain of what-ifs that cloud your aura of presence. The art of pausing also deserves a chapter in the Book of Composure. Pausing before responding or moving allows you to collect your thoughts. It lends gravity to your words and actions, making them seem deliberate and considered, not erratic or reactive. A well-timed pause in speech is like the space between musical notes, it gives rhythm and emphasizes the melody. Employ pauses to fortify your presence and communicate intentionality. Even as you harness these internal tools, don't overlook your external appearance. An upright posture and steady eye contact can create an illusion of control even when your internal world may be a whirlwind of doubt. Think of your posture as the mast of your ship, holding up the sails high and proud, not allowing the winds of stress to bend it. And let your gaze be the beacon that signals your resolve. Now, even with all these tools at the ready, we all know presence isn't simply sustained, we must keep reinventing it in each new pressure cooker scenario. Adaptability becomes key. What works in one instance might not apply to the next. The more varied your experiences with maintaining composure under different types of pressure, the more adept you become at summoning presence when you need it most. Adjusting your strategies on the fly is a testament to your command over your presence. Finally, fostering a healthy reflection practice cements the art of composure under pressure. Reflect on your encounters with pressure. Where did you excel? Where did you falter? And what signals did your body give you? Understanding these signals, and what they portend, allows you to better anticipate and mitigate stress responses before they compromise your presence. The real secret sauce, however, isn't just about deflecting pressure, it's about utilizing it. Every challenging moment is an opportunity to forge your ability to maintain presence, just like pressure creates diamonds out of carbon. With each test, you emerge more resilient and your presence more commanding. Remember, maintaining presence under pressure doesn't mean never feeling the pressure. It means acknowledging it, respecting it, and leveraging it to your advantage. So next time you're in the hot seat, take a breath, Find your anchor, and remember that you've got the tools to wield the pressure, not just withstand it. Your audience, your colleagues, even your inner critic, will notice the shift in the air, the unmistakable atmosphere of a person who not just endures but thrives when the heat is on. Chapter 7: Integrating Presence into Everyday Life. The transformation from learning about presence to embodying it daily is akin to the journey of a dancer. First, you understand the choreography in theory, then meticulously practice each step, and finally, it becomes second nature, every motion a testament to the art of dance. Similarly, the art of presence is not just about grasping the concept, but also about integrating it into your everyday life until your powerful presence becomes your second skin. You may be asking, how exactly do I embed these principles into my day-to-day routine? Like any skill worth mastering, the key lies in consistent practice. Think of presence as a muscle that requires regular exercise to grow stronger. Each day grants you opportunities to flex this muscle until the act of exercising presence is as natural to you as breathing. So, let's dive into the heart of making a powerful presence part of who you are, every single day. Start with the morning, your launchpad for the day ahead. How you begin your morning often sets the tone for the hours to follow. Cultivating a mindful routine, from the moment you wake up, can create a ripple effect that enhances your presence all day long. You might, for instance, begin with a simple mindfulness exercise, where you ground yourself in the present, listen to the birds, feel the softness of your sheets, and savor the warmth of your morning beverage. This practice of grounding isn't just whimsical, it's a proven strategy that sharpens your focus and calms your internal chatter, allowing you to project a more centered and commanding presence. Next, consider your communication throughout the day, how you speak, listen, and interact with the space around you. Remember the lessons of previous chapters on body language and the art of silence, apply them in your conversations. Practice maintaining comfortable eye contact during discussions, and be mindful of your posture and gestures in both professional and personal interactions. Such awareness might require setting periodic reminders at first, be it on your phone or through post-it notes in your workspace, prompting you to sit up straight, smile, or breathe deeply. These small nudges can be instrumental in transforming your awareness of presence into an effortless habit. Another indispensable aspect of building a routine for a powerful presence is dressing the part. Clothes have a language of their own. They can communicate authority, approachability, and confidence. Each morning, as you choose your attire, ponder on the messages you want to convey that day. Do you have a crucial meeting? Perhaps, opt for colors that denote confidence, such as navy or gray. Engaging in casual encounters? Choose outfits that offer comfort without sacrificing a put-together look, as this can boost both your approachability and self-esteem. The art of owning a room doesn't have to be reserved for special occasions. In every space, be it a meeting room, an elevator, or even a virtual conference call, carry yourself as if you belong and have important contributions to make. You can apply the strategies discussed earlier, like strategic space usage, by simply taking a moment to acknowledge your environment and positioning yourself favorable within it. This could mean choosing a seat where you can see everyone, or when online, using camera angles to your advantage. Moreover, the journey to building a present routine would be incomplete without addressing the digital world we inhabit. Yes, even in the ether of the internet, your presence can and does make a difference. Whether you're crafting an email, participating in a discussion thread, or posting on social media, consider your virtual tone, language, and the overall impression you leave behind. Strive for your written communications to reflect the same level of presence you aim for in person, clear, polite, and confident, with a touch of personal flair. When the workday winds down, don't let go of your commitment to presence. Domestic evenings and leisure time interactions are equally significant playgrounds to practice your presence. Whether you're having dinner with family or engaging in remote video chats with friends, each moment is a new scene in which to polish your skill. Be as present and authentic with your loved ones as you are in your professional realm. After all, the cohesion between your personal and professional presence will only strengthen your ability to maintain consistency in both. Finally, do not overlook the significance of reflecting on your day. Take time every evening to contemplate moments when you felt in command of your presence and times when perhaps you didn't. Reflect without judgment and take notes if you find it helpful. Use these reflections as constructive feedback, shaping your action plan for the next day. This kind of self-awareness practice enriches your understanding of presence, keeping your goal always within grasp. Remember, each day is a new chapter in your lifelong practice of presence. There will be missteps and moments of forgetfulness. That's an intrinsic part of learning. But with each act of realignment, with each conscious choice to embody the presence you've learned about, you ingrain these principles ever more deeply into your being. Through repetition and resilience, your powerful presence will not only manifest, but endure, becoming a beacon of your personal and professional identity. As you step into the room, you can almost feel the threads of your newfound understanding of presence weaving their way into the fabric of your daily life. You've traversed the landscape of self, exploring the intricacies of what it means to command attention without uttering a single word, and now, you stand ready to extend that understanding beyond the self, into the intricate dance of interpersonal dynamics. The truth is, the most profound shifts often happen not in isolation, but within the interconnected web of relationships and social interactions that make up our lives. In this shared space, the ripple effect of presence cannot be overstated. Like a stone cast into still waters, the impact of one person's aura can send out waves that touch countless others. But how do you ensure that these ripples are not random, but rather are intentional harmonies that contribute positively to the symphony of life around you? To inspire change, both personally and professionally, is to understand the subtleties and nuances of not just holding space, but activating it with purpose. The energy you carry into a room isn't some ethereal, mystical quality, it's the sum total of the self-awareness and control that you've cultivated. It's the balance between inner stillness and outward projection of confidence, it's knowing when to assert and when to merge with the surrounding atmosphere. Let's delve into the everyday moments, those seemingly mundane interactions that are often overlooked but hold immense power. Picture your morning routine, from the way you greet your family or housemates, your conduct on public transportation, or your entrance into the workplace. Each point of contact is an opportunity to consciously embody your presence. Imagine infusing your hello with a sense of warmth that brightens someone else's morning, or standing in a crowded subway, yet maintaining a posture of ease and openness. These subtle cues send messages about who you are and what you value, and over time, they shape the way others perceive and respond to you. Likewise, in a professional setting, integrating presence into your work life doesn't have to be a grandiose gesture. As you participate in meetings or collaborate on projects, be aware of how your physical stance, the attentiveness in your listening, and the considered nature of your speech contribute to a commanding yet cooperative atmosphere. It's about finding a delicate equilibrium where your contributions are felt, valued, and respected, without overwhelming or diminishing the contributions of others. Building routine habits for a powerful presence is akin to cultivating a garden. Each day, you're planting seeds, choosing the influences that you will let take root in your life. Perhaps you start by setting an intention each morning to approach the day with kindness and assertiveness. Or you take a few minutes before an important presentation to ground yourself in silence, to harness that inner calm that will anchor you amidst the storm of nervous energy. Maybe your lunch break becomes a sacred time for reflection, away from screens and conversations, where you can recharge and realign with your core intentions. Over time, these routines germinate, and what was once a conscious effort becomes as natural as breathing. Your enhanced presence becomes integrated into who you are, inextricably linked to your identity. People start to notice, they may not be able to articulate why, but they feel drawn to the confidence and positivity that seem to emanate from you. They see you as a beacon, a locus of serenity and strength in a chaotic world, and without even realizing it, they begin to mirror your composure and clarity of thought. This is the ripple effect in its most powerful manifestation. Rather than imposing your will or demanding respect, you become a living invitation to a higher standard of interaction. You inspire those around you to elevate their own presence, simply by demonstrating what's possible. Through each mindful encounter, you're advocating for a culture of authenticity, respect, and mutual empowerment. It's in these micro moments that the macro shifts in team dynamics, family relationships, and community connections take place. Within the professional sphere, your cultivated presence can be the differentiator that steers your career trajectory, the intangible it factor that makes you stand out in a crowded field. Clients and colleagues might not remember every word you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel heard, respected, and valued. Your presence can become a conduit for fostering collaboration, innovation, and a collective striving towards excellence. Remember that maintaining a powerful presence is not about domineering or being the loudest voice in the room. It's about the subtle art of influencing the energy of a space, guiding the flow of interaction, and creating an environment where ideas and people can thrive. It's also about being attuned to the presence of others, recognizing and honoring their unique contributions, and understanding how your energies can synergize for a greater impact. In every nuance of interaction, you're not just passing through, you're sculpting your legacy. With each conversation, each meeting, each handshake, you're imprinting a part of yourself onto the narrative of your life and the lives of those around you. Embrace this responsibility with a heart full of purpose and a mind open to continual growth, for it is in the gentle strength of presence that the true essence of influence lies. As you consistently apply this awareness to your daily interactions, your personal and professional circles begin to shift. You might notice colleagues coming to you for advice or confiding in you, not just because of your expertise, but because of the trustworthy aura that your presence exudes. Friends and family may comment on the subtle yet profound changes in your demeanor, perhaps more grounded, patient, or inspiring. And therein lies the journey, not toward a destination where presence is achieved and forgotten, but to the ongoing cultivation of a life lived with intentional, powerful presence, a life that resonates with the harmony of shared human connection. Conclusion. As you reach the end of our journey together through the intricacies of cultivating a powerful and effective presence, it stands as a vivid testament to the transformative nature of this skill. Throughout our exploration, we've unearthed the subtle nuances of nonverbal communication and laid bare the silent symphony that lies within the unspoken language of influence. The power of presence is an enduring one, influencing perception silently yet potently, like the quiet force of gravity shaping the orbits of celestial bodies. Delving deep into the significance of presence, it becomes evident how this seemingly ethereal attribute wields tangible effects in our daily lives. It starts with the first impression, a pivotal moment that opens the portals to the temples of trust or ignites the fires of skepticism. But what is presence in its purest form? It's that magnetic pull that draws people in, stirs curiosity, or commands a room. It is fundamentally about the energy you exude, which speaks volumes before you even utter a single word. To master your own presence is akin to an artist crafting a masterpiece. It necessitates attention to detail, the cut of your dress or the shade of your suit, which are the strokes of your paintbrush, your posture and gestures, the palette of colors you use to create art. The psychology of color, body language, and style combine to provide a visual signature unique to you, harnessing a silent narrative that articulates your individual brand of confidence and character. Emerging from this crucible of self-expression, you begin to exude an aura of authenticity and trustworthiness, pivotal in establishing connections and relationships. The strategic usage of space within your environment is another aspect of your nonverbal symphony. Like a skilled conductor commanding the orchestra with a wave of their baton, you too can learn to own a room without saying a word. It's the art of subtle dominion, exerting your presence in an understated yet unmistakable manner. However, perhaps the greatest secret power within the realm of presence is the harnessing of silence. The potent pause that lends gravity to your spoken words, the calm repose that can be as commanding as a shout. The power of silence is knowing the delicate balance of when to be the orator and when to embody the listener. It is cultivating an inner stillness that bolsters you in the most turbid of times, allowing you to radiate a presence that is at once serene and authoritative. Moving beyond the solitary exploration of self, mastering your presence also charts the course for interpersonal dynamics. It is the harmonious dance of give and take, of tuning into the ebbs and flows of others' energies, creating a symphony of synchronized interactions. Your influence blooms not just in shaping your own mood, but in sculpting the emotional landscape of those around you, in settings both personal and professional. In life, as in presence, challenges arise like inevitable tides against the shore. Identifying the presence blockers, common pitfalls like self-doubt or miscommunication, and adopting techniques for maintaining composure under pressure is paramount. These adversities are not stumbling blocks, but stepping stones, opportunities to hone resilience and affirm the solidity of your presence. As you begin the process of integrating these lessons into your everyday life, you'll discover that presence is more than a set of behaviors or a checklist of characteristics to adopt. It's a way of being, thinking, and navigating the world. Presence becomes part of the fabric of who you are, interwoven into your daily routines until it is as natural as breathing. The impact of your presence then ripples outward, influencing your personal and professional circles and inspiring change. The journey to mastering the power of presence comes full circle as you stand poised on the brink of a new dawn in your life. You are no longer merely a participant in life's symphony, but its conductor, attentive to each silent note and commanding respect and admiration with the subtlety of your baton's motion. This newfound mastery is not an end but a gateway, an avenue to endless possibilities where each interaction is an opportunity to leave an indelible impression. Remember, as with any profound skill, presence is not an end state but a constant pursuit, an evolution as infinite as your capacity for growth. The power of nonverbal communication opens a myriad of doors, and the inner stillness you've cultivated serves as the key to unlock endless potential. By mastering the art of presence, you've set out on an adventure where the map is perpetually redrawn, each step a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. As you move forward, always know that the symphony of presence you command is uniquely yours, and its music resonates in ways that only you can orchestrate.